mostly filler on the cover. The back is a picture of me like yelling at my clients, like, I can't believe you're doing this. And then like, it's just like when I would yell at a student or a client, I would go to Starbucks and just start like writing down, what they did wrong. And after like 4 or 5 revisions, you end up with like 22 of them. And now we're going to make it 50 pages. And I have illustrations like Russell Brunson. And holy shit, I'm going to have a booklet.
Wow, that is pretty cool. So you're official now. Now you got a book. You got a book that you can do a free plus shipping on, right?
Yeah, like it was like, hey mom, I was going to be an author, and she's like, I don't believe you. I was like, but it's almost an author. She's like, it's self-published. It's not a thing. I was like, come on, be nice. But yeah, forget it.
In my book, you're an author now.
Right. Now we're an author. So I worked with Chris O'Brien on that, and it should be launching like next 2 weeks or something like that. Like, it's always a huff and puff. It fucking sucks the first 4 or 5 revisions, but I'm super psyched. So we'll see what happens.
Cool. Well, we are live inside the group now. So appreciate everybody being on here. I got a special surprise guest today, Mr. Jeff Miller over here. Hi. Who is he has these client retention strategies and techniques that everybody out there needs to start implementing in their business. So if you are on here live right now, give us a hashtag live. If you're catching the replay, give us a hashtag replay. Jeff, I'll let you kind of take over, introduce yourself, and give a little context story about yourself, man.
Awesome. Cool. So yeah, name is Jeff. I'm down in Miami, Florida. Just so you know, we've got Tony Tovar, Helena, and Lewis in the background. Everybody say hi. Yeah, you can't hear him at all because the mic's the wrong direction, right? But yeah, I run Cool Beans Digital, and by I run, I mean it's just me, like a solo agency and stuff. And one of the big things that I've realized is that my clients are like consistently lying to me. Like, it's standard, it's matter of fact, and like I didn't take it as the fact of life for like the first 6 months. Like, they're a client, like we trust each other and everybody's honest. And then I realized that like they are featured and flawed just like every other normal human being. They're not going to remember things that I remember. And I ended up building like this like 8-point strategy on how to like keep my clients honest, which helps keep me honest. But every single month I'm hearing other agency owners say like, we lost another client, churn, arguing about retention, all that. And they aren't doing things like sneaky surveys or welcome texts or soap opera sequences or like, recorded callbacks or stuff like that. And I grew up with like Intel and Ericsson, where there was like standard, like they took care of leads every single step. They did not trust the salesperson to follow up. They made sure it was automatic. And so I just started implementing in my business, and it worked out pretty darn well. You were there for like some of the yelling sessions, right? At like the mastermind, right?
Yeah, that was gold.
Yeah. And so like the sneaky surveys, welcome text, recorded callbacks, secret shopping, like all this stuff, like it's normal stuff that you should be doing for a client. And there's a guy named Angel who also lives in Miami by pure coincidence.
Hey, Angel, right now. What's up, Angel?
Oh, he's watching? Okay, cool. So Angel, let me know if that's true or I mean, it's going to be true, but Angel, tell everybody in the chat, like, how much money did your client stay on for? Or how much money did you not lose? Or what does dollar contract that you saved by simply running a sneaky survey? And a sneaky survey is when you send out a text message to all your old leads, like after 14 days. And like, your client says they called everybody back. And if I remember correctly, Angel saved a $4,000 a month contract simply by doing sneaky surveys. So like, we can talk about a bunch of stuff, but I figure the reason why everybody's on here to hear stories like that. So there you go.
That's solid. And you guys, I was telling Jeff before I got on this call, I took into place kind of something he said, and that is kind of recording what you do. What's up, dude? And with that, I had a client the other day tell me that I was lying about something, and simply just went back, took a screenshot, and was like, no, here, yep. I'm telling you the truth. And, just with that, you build that huge credibility. So I think that's something huge that you're talking about.
So if you're watching this live and you're like, all right, what am I taking away from this? What am I doing? How can I save myself from losing a client? There's like a couple things right out of the gate that you should be doing immediately. And the first thing, like you mentioned, is always be recording your calls. Like whether it's a Zoom meeting or like you take your camera, turn around, or whatever you're doing, always be recording their calls. And so what I do is I use the genius excuse, which makes them feel smart and agree to it. I say, hey, Mr. Johnson, when you have some of these meetings and you have like that genius moment, you walk out the door, you totally forget it. And they go, yes. You say, just so you know, I'm recording this so we never forget the genius moments, and we can always play back the tape. And they go, great. And what magically happens is when they say something dumb, or when they give like conflicting instructions, or when they say, I want to do this thing, and then they counteract that down the line, you replay the tape. Magically, they stay honest. Everybody does it to me once. And then later on, they never do it again. So that's the first thing. You need to be recording all your calls. You're like, yeah, let's just record it right now, right? So you need to be recording your calls right out of the gate. If for some reason, like you just stay by a desk and your client like just calls you, find whatever, put on speaker, open up QuickTime, click record, you're recording your calls. Put them in a Google Drive, give them access so it's not shady. But I'm not kidding. 90% of the time, you'll win a fight because you're recording calls. So that's number one, always be recording calls. The second thing you should be doing is a welcome text. And so I don't know if I can't see the chat, but let me know if anybody knows what a welcome text is.
Let us know in the comments if you guys know.
Yeah, like a welcome text is a really cool way of proving your leads are legit. So like everyone's always like, oh, these leads are real. I don't know. I call them back and they don't know what they're doing, blah, blah, blah. Like your client will always think you're lying. Client will always think that it's fake. And so what'll happen is you should be doing what's called a welcome text. And what I like to do when I'm like conveying this idea is that everyone likes to think that Elon Musk really cares about their Tesla experience, right? Like they genuinely care. And if you saw the Apple keynote, you get the feeling that Tim Cook really, really cares about the iPad. They don't. They're fucking billionaires. They don't give a shit about you, right? But they spend $1 billion trying to convey it, right? And so the way I manifest that for my clients is as soon as a lead signs up, magically 10 minutes later, they get a text. It's secretly me. I'm not typing it out. It's all automatic, but it's secretly me. Hey, this is Jeff with Jeff's Chiropractic. Just want to make sure I'm super psyched that you signed up. Look out for a phone call or text from Jessica. She'll get you set up and taken care of. That's it. You're setting Jessica up for success. It's called the welcome text. Very easy to do. Set up the automation. You do it once and it runs forever. Really cool. People reply. You get the click send up on your phone. You can pretend you're the doctor. Perfect. I find that half the people reply. Cool. I want to know if anybody on watching this has ever had half their leads proven to be legit before the doctor even had a chance to argue with them. Doesn't happen, right? And so whenever the client or the doctor, the dentist, or the guy even begins to think of like, I called these leads back, and I don't know if they're real at all. And I was like, are you sure about that? He goes, yes. I said, I got text messages back from everybody. They all say they're real. Are you sure you're calling them back? Are you sure your front desk is calling them back? So first thing you need to be doing is recording calls. Second thing is doing sneaky surveys. Secret shop. Welcome text. The third thing you need to be doing is sneaky surveys. And this is what saved Angel's $4,000 a month account. Sneaky surveys are about 14 days after somebody signs up. They magically get a follow-up text. And it's a text from the same number, same automation, all that stuff. And it says, hey, this is Jeff again. Just checking in. Did you use your voucher? Did Jessica get in touch? How's your experience? And I find out magically Jessica didn't call anybody fucking back. I found out magically that they tried buying, but the business was closed, that they called 3 times, but guess what? The phone was busy, so they gave up. And so you're doing all these things proactively. It's kind of like you're going to war, right? You're proving your leads are legit. You have to be able to say these leads are legitimate before you have a strategy session with your client, because your client automatically believes that you're from the internet, so you're a shitty person, that you're sleazy, that like for some reason these are fake numbers, just trying to bump up the numbers. And so when you get responses to these sneaky surveys, welcome texts, things along those lines, put them on a desktop, put them in a folder called your client. And when you do your strategy session, and if you feel at all that your client is going to argue about the leads or try to fire you or whatever, you say, Mr. Johnson, before we get started, I just want to be able to prove my leads are legit. And they're like, what are you talking about? I was like, by the way, I do want to say that I know Jessica's saying we should call everybody back, but I got 18 people in the past week saying that I didn't call anybody back. Is Jessica doing her job? Mr. Johnson, I know you want to say that these leads are not quality, but it turns out 14 of them bought, and you didn't write in the database, so I just want to make sure we're doing our part. Hey, Mr. Johnson, I record all my calls, and I did the following that you wanted, but then I got conflicting conversations from your wife or your front desk. What would you like me to do? So that type of narrative is like super important with keeping clients. You should really view this as more like not a client-agency relationship, but a parent-student-teacher relationship. So like the parent's always angry at the teacher if the student is failing. But the second the teacher can prove the student failed on their own fault, that they had every opportunity to excel, now the parent isn't angry at the teacher anymore. They're angry at the student. So you have to have that approach. It's you, your front desk, and your leads, or you, your front desk, and your clients. And so you really need to do like things infrastructure-wise. You can set up all these things once, super easy. You can record all your calls whenever you have one with the client, super easy. You can do sneaky surveys, welcome text, super easy. I mean, I even found out through a secret shopper that the GM to my car wash was leaving an hour and a half early and putting the cars behind the building with a note saying your keys are inside. Like,
That's fucking crazy.
Like, that's horrible. And so like their marketing or their dollars for their location were dropping. It's magically my fault because the marketing is bad. So I had to prove that my leads are real. They're calling, they're buying. I got 18 sneaky server responses saying they bought, that they showed up on time, nobody was there, that they scheduled an appointment, nobody showed up, that the car wash was bad, and they've been hiding the cars behind the building because they're leaving an hour and a half early. So that's the weird relationship at all. So if you guys aren't doing that, you can implement it immediately. This will help you keep your clients because you're proactively proving your leads are legitimate and moving in the right direction. So just kind of ideas.
Yeah. And you guys, Jeff is 100% on point here. I started implementing his strategies as soon as because I've been following you for a while, man. And like the sneaky survey has saved my ass so many times.
Yep.
So quick question for you. I know you said that welcome message, you use a welcome text message. What software do you usually use for that?
So you can send, or you get the appearance of like that billionaire CEO, like caring about the leads by using, like you're going to do ClickFunnels or whatever your lead generation software is, and use Zapier to connect the internet, right? So you've got ClickSend, which is doing the actual phone number, and they put an app on your phone, and Zapier will automatically instruct ClickSend to do a thing. So it's literally like ClickFunnels, Zapier, ClickSend. And you can do a delay and all that stuff, so don't do immediately wait 10 minutes and all that. But I never, ever let my clients look at those text messages, ever. It's my ammunition, right? They're supposed to do their job. You can take care of your clients, I'm going to take care of mine. Or you take care of your leads, I'm going to take care of mine. And they go straight to me, I respond, I pretend I work there. No big deal. And it just plain old works. So it's literally like a ClickSend Zapier integration. And it sucks doing it, but once you do it once, it's like IKEA furniture, you can figure it out. And the darn thing just runs forever.
IKEA furniture is not the best type of I got some the other day, and it took me like 3 hours to put this thing together. And like,
yep.
I'm like, dude, I just want to pay someone to do this thing. I don't want.
Yeah.
I don't.
That's correct. That's the same thing with ClickSend and Zapier. Like it sucks, but once you set up, you don't have to deal with it again. And then once that welcome text is set up, you can add on a new 2-week delay, do a sneaky survey. It integrates with ClickSend. And the end result is what you expected from ActiveCampaign, which is being able to text your clients and text your clients' leads. And so I tried doing the ActiveCampaign, it fucking sucked. And it turns out Uber uses ClickSend. So I was like, done. And it just works. So, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Daniel asked, what do you use to record your calls with?
So you can use Zoom and automatically set up to automatically record. What I like doing is I tell my clients to schedule. So if you go to coolbeansdigital.com/schedule, you can hit my calendar. Nobody do it. I'll reject the meetings. But you can funnel hack that and see what it's like. You can have your client fill out a form. Cool. Let's do a strategy session. Fill out the form. What's the number one thing you want from this meeting? What are the next big problems in your businesses and something else? Ask 3 questions. And then you can set up Acuity and Zoom to integrate. So it automatically drops a Zoom in there, and then it automatically records. And you end up in this really cool scenario where you don't have to remind them it's recording. It's automatically there. The calendar hit. You train correctly. And I just use Zoom. If for whatever reason they just call me randomly or Zoom isn't ready, open up QuickTime, takes 3 seconds, put them on speaker, you're recording, and then I put in their Google Drive.
Wow. That's solid. I love, for everybody that's just now tuning in, Jeff's talking about really the client retention, basically just saying you got to call your clients out on their bullshit, right? Mm-hmm. So
like everybody wants, 1990s, 1980s Arnold Schwarzenegger as a personal trainer. Everybody does, right? Like that guy would be a great personal trainer. But Arnold Schwarzenegger would slap the Taco Bell out of your mouth. You would. Like, don't you dare put that in front of your body. Like, that's unacceptable. You need to have the same approach with your clients, which is literally sneaky surveying, welcome texting them, secret shopping them, call recorded callbacks, all that stuff, so that you can prove your leads are legit because your training works. You're generating leads. The darn thing is happening. But for some reason, they're not getting their intended results. But we're not Arnold Schwarzenegger, so we have to be a bit more proactive. And that's the analogy that I use. And it works. Like I've had clients say, I don't want Facebook ads, but I want everything else. I want you to do sneaky surveys and welcome text. I want you to secret shop. I want you to call record. I want you to do all that. I was like, great, $3,000 a month and I'll do whatever you want. And they go, okay. And so there are clients that want this type of stuff, but don't want Facebook ads. So if you're not offering it, you're missing out and you're not keeping your clients as long as you expect. So there you go.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's another, like you were talking about, that's another for you guys out there watching this. If you're not very tech savvy and don't want to do the Facebook ads, you can go and study how to do the client retention spot. And you said what, $3,000 just for one client?
It was they own nursing homes in South Florida. They're like, this is great. I don't trust my front desk. I was like, you got it. I'll sneak you survey your front desk, secret shop your front desk. I'll call back the leads that didn't want to buy. It's called the quality assurance trick. If you ever fill out a Quicken form, they'll call you 3 times, wait 3 days, and then the supervisor calls. Hey, Jeff, this is the QA. This is the quality assurance team over Quicken. Just want to make sure you're taken care of. And the front desk did all their blah, 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 and the salesperson. And then you tell them what you would not tell the salesperson. It's very American to do that. And all that fun stuff, if you present correctly, people will buy. And sometimes they decide to do Facebook ads with you. Most times they want all the stuff that I'm mentioning right now.
Yeah, 100%. And we got, what's up, Aaron, Harkon, Dan, Sam, Joel, Jay. Appreciate you guys being on here. Give us a hashtag live if you are live, and give us a hashtag replay if you're on the replay. We want to boost this up in the algorithm. Now, Jeff, another question for you. When I was at this Atlanta conference, I noticed you talked about how the client retention spot, but then you talked about how you can start upselling them on big packages and making more money for your agency. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So I use this in the mastermind that Andrew and I did last week. It was like, have you ever bought a car or anything like that? I'm asking you. Have you ever bought a car? You have, right? How long ago did you buy your car?
It's been a while.
A couple years, right? Did you have a car beforehand, and this was your first car?
I had a car before.
Okay, so why did you buy a new car? Because it was old or something like that? You just want a new one, something like that, right?
Upgrade, yeah.
Okay, upgrade, right? So imagine the salesperson calls you and said, hey, I know you just bought a new car. I know you upgraded. Did you want to buy a second car? Like, no, man, what are you talking about? I just bought a new car. Like, why would I buy a second car? Like, I already solved that car problem. Now I upgraded. I don't need to buy another car. That's what we do when every month we say, did you want to buy Facebook ads again? After the second or third time, they're like, this is exhausting. I already have leads, buddy. You've already solved my first problem. You're already generating the business. My Tuesday, which was empty, is now filled. I'm over capacity. We've got all these leads. I can't call them back. That's not my problem anymore. I've got a different problem. Instead of being a car dealer that's trying to keep selling cars, be more like Apple or Amazon. Apple or Amazon doesn't go like, oh my God, he didn't buy another iPad. They go, I don't give a shit. He bought an iPhone. He bought an iPad. We've got other stuff to sell. Amazon, same thing. So you should have the same approach with your Facebook ads agency. Have other stuff to sell. And you'll find magically that your clients just shift money around different products and services. One of my bike shops, they're like, I want Facebook ads this month. I was like, great, let's figure out another problem I can solve for you. They're like, great. So they stayed on board. They stayed instead of leaving. And by the way, if you take this problem solution approach, they'll pay you even more money. So here's what you should be doing. By the second or third month, most agencies have lost their Facebook ads clients just immediately. They've lost them. Either because they have not consistently upsold or solved more problems or said they're only a Facebook ad agency. So instead of risking losing that client, instead of saying, hey, Mr. Johnson, did you want to buy Facebook ads again? You say, hey, Mr. Johnson, what other problems can I solve for you in your business? The guy's going, what do you mean? Like, well, there's a reason why you're not as successful as you want to be, right? He goes, yeah. What is that problem? Why aren't you more successful? And he'll tell you. And go, great, Mr. Johnson. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go craft a plan, figure out with my team what we can do for you. I'm going to quote you. And then within 24 hours, if you want to get this problem solved, let's do it. Oh, great. Surprise cat. That's so funny. Oh my God. Steph, that happened with Lewis. Oh my God. That's so funny. Lewis, there's an interview cat. Come look. Look, like you, Steph,
shit.
There's always interview cats all the time. Right?
He just wants attention, man. He's filling out.
That's cat, bro.
Isn't that crazy? He just wants attention. You know the cat's name?
Riker.
Pistachio. Yeah. It's a good name, right?
It's all.
That's not your cat's name, but I just named it Pistachio.
Name my cat.
Pistachio. Yeah. But so you should be having the approach of saying, great, what's the next problem I can solve for you? When you do that, you can upsell more stuff. That's number one. Number two, you're arguing about problems. When your client says this is a problem, they've assigned a very, very, very high value to it. When you're going in saying this package is valued at $9.97, like Russell Brunson, your perfect funnel is not $9.97. Like it's a $13 booklet. It's not $9.97, right? But if he says, what's the reason why your webinar isn't successful and how much is that problem costing you? All of a sudden you're putting the dollar cost up here. Same thing with your client. So if anybody watching this, you're saying, great, how can I keep my clients and upsell them? First off is have other stuff to buy. Don't be only selling Facebook ads. Sell callback services, sell secret shopping, sell sneaky surveys, sell SEOing if they want that. sell website design, newsletter, customer recognition, outreach, all that fun stuff, soap opera sequences. Have other stuff to sell, and magically you'll keep your clients longer just by having more stuff. Like the reason why you keep going back to Amazon is they have more stuff. You haven't spent any more money with that car dealer, right?
No.
Same shit, right? So don't be the car dealer, be Amazon or Apple instead. And the second is when you are proactively calling your clients and saying, let's do a strategy session, you're going to review your campaigns, good or bad, and you say, great, Mr. Johnson, what's the next big problem in your business that we should start solving? All right, Mr. Johnson, you got it. I'm going to spend 24 hours. I'm going to create a program, a package. I'm going to quote you an invoice. You don't have to buy it. I just want to make sure you view me as a resource that you can spend money with to solve your problems in your business. And they're going to fucking love it. Like that approach went from $2,250 with my bike shop all the way up to $13,000 a month with my bike shop. That's the approach that took my car wash from a one-time sale of $2,000 to $40,000. Like that upward approach is what does it time and time again because you're solving problems. What's funny is both of those people stopped buying Facebook ads after the third month. So that kind of idea.
I like that because you become, at first you start out, as you're saying, like a Facebook ads specialist, and then you become a problem solver. And the problem solver is what stays around a while.
Yeah.
And gets you from a $3,000 to $4,000, $40,000 client.
Correct. 100%. And everybody watching this knows that their clients have other problems. They just have not figured out other things to sell that solve those problems. So once you start taking that approach, like your brain changes a bit, the way you approach problem changes for a bit, and you can charge an F ton of more money.
Now, when did you start taking this change? What kind of happened with your agency that was like, fuck, man, like I gotta start calling them out on their bullshit and getting them back in gear?
Yeah. So it was actually my chiropractor, like my first client ever. We ran ads for him the first 2 weeks. He's like, great, this is okay, cool, working great, fine, perfect. And then 2 weeks later, he's like, Jeff, I don't know what happened. Like nobody's calling, nobody's showing up, stuff like that. And I was like, that's so weird. I've known him my whole life. And I was like, he can't be lying to me, right? There's no way. So what I did is I called back the leads anyway. I pretended that I worked for him. I was at the front desk. Hey, my name is Jeff. I'm working for Blank Chiropractic. I'm at the front desk. I want to make sure you're called and taken care of. Magically, we find out that Jessica wasn't calling anybody back, but she was saying that she was. So that like logged the idea in my head. I was like, all right, is this what happens? And then I had an orthopedist, literally CEO, surgeon, MD, MBA, $1 million business, 20 employees. He sent me this email. I could tell he was cursing when he wrote it. He's like, Jeff, you promised 30 customer opportunities. My front desk says they only got 2 engagements. What the hell is going on here? How are you going to fix this? It's like, that's so weird. Like, where did 2 come from? Like, I literally have 30 people in active campaign. 30 people are replying to these sneaky surveys. People said they actually went in. How the hell does front desk tell him 2? And I realize now that the front desk is really, really good at lying. Like they just have too much stuff to do. They're not on point. And this is not their real job. They just get trash can dumped with everything. And so I realized pretty quickly that if the CEO, surgeon, MD, MBA, he doesn't know, the front desk isn't doing it, and I want to keep the business, it's up to me to do it. And then I started like segmenting the sucker out. And so the first like thought in my head was like my friend who was a chiropractor was saying like, this is not working. The front desk says they're calling everybody back, but nobody's coming in. So I called. I just literally pretended I was with them. And I realized really quickly that the front desk either wasn't calling back or wasn't giving the appearance they were calling back or wasn't getting the end result of calling back, which are 3 separate things. Turns out you have to call people 3 times for them to feel like they got a call back. And then secondly is from like a business point of view is being able to prove more information to the CEO of a $1 million company, multi-million-dollar company who's too busy doing other thing. They take their front desk's word for it. They've been working with them longer. And so if I want to keep clients, I have to have all this information ready. And what was funny is I sent him this recorded video. I'm reviewing active campaign, the sneaky surveys, the welcome text. I said, this program is getting the result that you ordered, but it's not getting your intended result. The reason why it's not getting your intended result is because your front desk is falling apart. I literally filled out this form 3 times. I'm still waiting for a callback. I've got 5 people saying that they bought, it's not logged into her system. I called back 10 of these people, and guess what? They didn't get a call back. So what do you want to do? He leaves me a voicemail. I have it saved. It's actually in my course. It's super fun. Jeff, I'm so sorry. I always deal with this shit. I can't believe it, blah, blah, blah. So I call him back. I say, this is what we're going to do. You take the first 10. I'm going to take 10 through 20. We're going to call everybody back. We schedule 6 appointments. Right? Oh. So this stuff works. It's just making sure that you never believe that your client actually does their job. You just have to actively prove that it works every single day. And when you do that, people will spend a lot of money with you, a lot of money, and it just works.
Yeah. And I had that problem when like one of my first chiro clients I had, it was like the same problem. I brought them like 45, 50 leads in 1 month. and they didn't want to do service the next month. So I was like, dude, what's going on? Like, what's going on? He's like, well, the leads you're bringing in, like, they're not real, I don't think. I'm like, are you calling them? Oh, yeah. I'm like, how often? Oh, we get back in touch within 5 minutes. I'm like, oh, really? So I did the little secret survey, and it took 6 days just to get a call, and then 2 weeks, to get a text, and then 2 weeks to get a call. So I was like, bro, like, you're not doing your job.
Yeah. So it's very clear. And what you can do in the onboarding session is make those adjustments. And I talked about this in the mastermind. You can say, it definitely looks like I can beat these numbers, and I can definitely get you intended result if you're willing to do your part. How about I show you a package and a program? So you set that tone correctly. And what I've realized is once you start finding more problems as a reason why they're not successful, you can sell solutions to that. So I sell callback services as a program. Like, hey, Mr. Johnson, looks like you can't call everybody back. That's not your fault. That's just how business works. Your front desk is too busy doing other things. What if I could find someone to do this for you automatically? It's going to cost you a lot, but this will move you one step closer to making the $45,000 a month additional revenue that we outlined. Are you interested? They always say yes. So you white label Jules' office or something like that, and you 5 times your costs, and you get your intended result.
How much is Jules' office usually?
They charge per call, I think, with like a $50 a month minimum, but it's a rounding error on most budgets. Like, it doesn't matter. And the amount of money that you gain by having a callback service that is on point is like always 5 to 10 times more than arguing with your front desk about why they suck and arguing with your client and why they're bad. Just be like, you set the tone, like, this is proof. You're not getting an intended result. Here's why. Would you like me to solve this problem for you? Great. I'm going to create a package, get back to you within 24 hours. And then what happens is when they want to renew, they renew 2 things. And then you do the next month, then they renew 3 things. My bike shop's invoice has 10 programs running. So that's
That's awesome, because you're growing their business so fast too. You're helping them.
My bike shop now has 4 locations, right? Start off with 2. He's got 4 now. And so my philosophy is like, I get them in the door saying I do Facebook ads. Then 2 months they realize I solve problems, and they can solve those problems with money. So everybody's happy. So that kind of idea.
So then now you're the problem solver.
Correct. It makes an F ton of money. The chief marketing officer outsourced. That's the idea.
It's solid. So let's start wrapping this up. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them down below. I know Jeff's a very busy man. Let's see. So have you thought about using something like CallRail or something similar that records calls and connects the lead to the client?
Yeah. So there's 2 programs. One of them is CallRail, which will automatically call. Like when you call your credit card company, this call may be recorded for quality assurance. That's a program like CallRail. And so on all my ads and all my funnels, I do not put my client's phone number at all. I don't do it. I put a CallRail number, and CallRail has an app, and I get notified every time I generate a phone call. How cool is that? And I get to listen into the call, and I get to find out the front desk is not following the script, that people are interested in buying, they didn't pick up the phone, or it's an angry client because they went before and they didn't get what they ordered. I have proof, verifiable proof, that I sent over 150 phone calls to car wash. They picked up 1/3 of them. So guess what? I'm proving that my stuff works. And when I feel like being angry for the day, I listen to the calls. It's just mind blowing, like how untrained the front desk is. Like, it's literally the first impression for your business. These customers are worth tens of thousands of dollars, and you have a snotty teenage brat for $8 an hour giving you the worst first impression to over 100 clients. They don't know. They don't. So I can introduce like front desk training, and then charge an extra $3,000 a month for it. So yeah, I use CallRail a lot. Really easy to use. The trick is to not do. You want to choose an offline number, like it. Like
you gotta chill more, bud.
That's so funny. What's your cat's name, by the way?
Riker.
Oh, I thought it was pistachio. And so CallRail, the expert secret is choose an offline number. Like when you choose an online number, it gets all funky and weird. They assume you're doing weird stuff. Don't just choose an offline number. Works as you intended. And all my clients' ads and landing pages and all that stuff, only my ad, only my phone number, and I record everything. So yeah, I use CallRail and I love it.
CallRail, that's solid.
Yep. There's another program that will, I forget the name of it. Somebody told me in the mastermind, like they will, they set it up so that you can charge per call transfer. So you can say, hey, Mr. Johnson, hey, Mr. Car Wash, hey, Mr. Chiropractor, I'm going to run this program, but you're only going to pay when I send you a phone call. Are you interested? Sure. Right. And so you do all the stuff, and then you put their phone number, and then they automatically build a client every time you transfer a phone number automatically. So like how Zillow does it, that type of idea. And I totally forget the name, but that's something I'm experimenting with next month.
Nice. So, okay. Quick question. I have I have no with real estate agents is I have no with real estate agents is the market is bad. So how do you keep real estate? I guess they're asking, how do you keep real estate clients in a market?
So I've never actually had a real estate client, nor have I kept a real estate client. But what I know is that Shane Hiller, who I have an interview with, he removes the agent from the real estate agent ads process. So he assumes that the agent will never do their job ever. And he says, what software can I do? What processes can I do? What steps can I do automatically so that the real estate agent does as least as possible? So what he does is he runs normal real estate agent ads, buy this home, look at this home, sign up, all that stuff. And then he does that call transfer thing that I mentioned. He has people that like a VA, I'm sure, or Philippines, or like some people in his office calling back these leads. Hey, Mr. Johnson, just checking in. Would you like me to transfer you to a real estate agent? And they do a live transfer. And all this stuff is recorded, and they know they're doing their job, and they get to charge on the transfer. And when you're doing that with real estate agents, then all of a sudden you're really, really proving your stuff is legit, and you're proving that your stuff works, and you're not letting them fuck it up. Like, I don't trust my clients to call anybody back anymore. And so I can't answer the best way I want to, but I can give structure around that, which is remove the agent from the sales process and call back the leads. You can have a service do it and then do a live transfer. And because they're on a recorded line, you can audit and you'll know for sure. Like, I mean, imagine if you can go to a real estate agent and say, I just sent you 10 people in the past 2 weeks. I want to buy a home. You need to pick up your phone once. It's not me, it's you. And once you've got that set up, you can just drop in new real estate agents pretty darn quickly. So that kind of idea.
Yeah, it sounds like, and from my experience of doing this as well, it sounds like if you can remove your client from like doing the work of talking to them and just have everything automated and then just bring them the client, your agency will just skyrocket.
So that's why Anthony Selm saw so much success in the beginning. He assumed correctly that his gym clients would never call anybody back. So he says, great, did you want this thing? Pay now. He goes, it's not like a sign up form. It's literally a pay now form, like a checkout. Like, just give me money. And then once they have money, then they call the business, right? So he assumes that the business will never call back any of the leads. He just assumes that if the lead wants to do it, then they'll take action and check out. And so now he's sending these businesses, people have already paid, people have already self-qualified, people want to do it, and then they show up with a ticket, like, hey, I want to take your stuff. So like that's powerful. Like he's removed his client from the client process. So yeah.
Is that the guy with the mustache that always runs those ads on Facebook?
No, Anthony, that is another dude. He is jacked. That is Hermazo or something like that.
I think so.
Right?
No, is all I know.
Say what?
He's making a shit ton of money. I know like Russell Brunson interviewed him or something.
That is correct, but that is not the person I'm referring to. The person I'm referring to is Anthony Selm. So that's the first time I learned that. That's when he was like, Jeff, you can do this. And I was like, so I think January, something like that. My car wash will be migrating from leads, and then it was phone calls, and now it'll be people who bought a car wash voucher or ticket. So they've already paid, right? And then if that happens correctly, now I can be in this weird position of saying, it cost me $3, but I pre-sold a car wash ticket for $20, so I make $17 a lead versus being on like a flat rate. Does that make sense? So that's down the line. It should be pretty cool.
Wow. That's like a whole game changer to the whole agency thing.
Correct. So like this is just part of the natural evolution of it. When you're first starting out, it's like, oh God, how does this whole thing work? And then like you're excited when people fill out a form, learn not to trust your clients. And then the metric of success moves from form fills to phone calls. And then I think version 3 is moving from phone calls to purchases. So we'll see what happens there. That's coming up. Yeah.
Solid. Be staying tuned for that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm assuming you have to inform the clients up front about using CallRail, or do we not have to do that?
So in my pitch, my presentation, where I say, here's the behind the scenes of a high performing digital marketing campaign, I say, and we keep everybody honest. So we're doing sneaky surveys, recorded phone calls, welcome text, all that stuff. And then that's all I have to do. And so like, just like when you call your credit card company, you don't have to like accept a recordings like this call may be recorded. So your leads don't have to accept. And on the calendar hit, you can say, by the way, we're recording this call, click here. And then that's like acceptance. If you're worried that like for some reason somebody's going to get super pissed or angry at you because you recorded, it never happened to me ever. Right. And most times it literally plays in your favor about keeping clients longer.
Yeah. It makes you look more professional as well.
Correct.
Angel called it. It's Alex Hormozy.
Yeah, the mustache. Yeah.
Mustache guy.
Yeah.
Okay, last one, Daxi. Daxi goes, I love Jeff's #ass. Oh man, if you guys aren't in Jeff's Facebook group, you definitely need to check it out. What's it called again, man? All I remember is you have a picture of a big ass on it.
I do. So this has like been a running joke. So when I first started my inner circle, Andrew was like, and he's the reason why this whole thing has turned out. He was like, it's agency acceleration secrets. I was like, that's awesome. And then I started talking about it, and it was agency scaling secrets. He's like, no, Jeff, that's wrong. That means ass. And I was like, like agency scaling secrets, ASS. It was too late. It was on everything. I was like, shit, like fuck, right? By then it was too late. I couldn't wrap my head around it. And I sat down with Arnie Giske, who has a Facebook group of like 1.5 billion people. And he's like, man, just own it. Just have a big picture of a butt. And I was like, you're fucking with me. He's like, I am, but it'd be really cool if it worked out. And so I was like, okay. So I Googled cartoon butt, drop it on the banner. And that was in March, right? And since March, now there are 25,100 people that have joined since March.
Since March?
And it's because of the butt. Agency scaling secrets. Yeah. Yeah.
Man, that is great.
Yeah. So it's like I remember when it went live and 500 people signed up, and I was like, and these aren't real people. But then they started interacting. I was like, oh my God. And so now we're figuring out like a 5-step program that grows groups and stuff like that. And Daniel Tapia is doing it. And like, it's really, really cool seeing these numbers notch up and up and up. And it's mostly because of the butt. So, we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Damn. Well, hey, if you guys are finding value in this video, give us a #cartoon butt down below. Jeff has just been dropping straight value bombs after value bombs and talking about his ass secrets, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Good ass.
Well, yeah, before we sign off, is there anything last minute you'd like to say?
I think if you're watching this and you really want to put yourself in a position where you're like making sure you keep clients before you even have a problem about keeping them, you want to do things like record all your calls just right out of the gate. The second thing is you want to do sneaky surveys and welcome texts. And you can even do things like recorded callbacks, which is where you are calling back the leads, just like I do with my first client. And what'll happen is magically you'll find out that your clients have other problems you can solve for them. Once you've identified a problem and a reason why they're not more successful, you're in a really unique position to sell a solution. Stop arguing with them. Just solve the problem in exchange for money. That's it. That's all you have to do. And there are a lot of people who have built a whole business that can be white labeled, like Jill's office, or secret shoppers, or any of those things, or even like trainings. And then once you start getting to the habit of solving people's problems in exchange for money, your agency will begin to move up and up and up, and your clients will spend more and more money with you. And you won't be fighting with other Facebook ad agencies because you'll be a CMOO, which is Chief Marketing Officer outsourced. And you're going to put yourself in a really, really cool position to make an F ton of money and keep your clients for a long time. So, and it's much more rewarding than like arguing with them about if they call people back. So, yeah.
Oh, that's solid. So you guys, main takeaways: clients lie, become a problem solver.
Yeah. Just assume your clients are lying to you. Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you hopping on here, Jeff. I learned a lot. I'm sure everybody else out here did as well.
Very cool. All right. Tell Riker I said hi.
He's somewhere. All right. Later, bro.
See you, buddy. Bye.